Welcome back. We're talking with Sam Cooper about the Vancouver model, which is the confluence of Chinese organized crime, money laundering, Vancouver's real estate market, and the international drug trade. So, Sam, I'm wondering, how did Chinese crime syndicates first turn Vancouver into an international hub of drug trafficking and money laundering?
Well, my research showed that this really kicked off at scale in the late 80s. Many Canadians, especially on the West Coast, will remember Expo 86. This was essentially a government program welcoming, as they said, the world to Vancouver. But as my research showed, welcomed in the business, let's call it euphoria surrounding that, were major tycoon real estate investors from Hong Kong, among them casino owners and bosses from Macau that had deep relationships with the Chinese Communist Party. And so my research showed that when these real estate investments scaled up, and estimates are that over 20% of Vancouver was transacted to these Hong Kong tycoons in that era, because of their deep linkages to Asian organized crime at a high level in Hong Kong, in consistency with this Vancouver model at early stages. Really, that's when what are called the international triads based in Macau and Hong Kong, working with very high level officials and criminals in China, they really got a foothold in Vancouver. And so, along with that major real estate investment, the flip side of that coin was casino money laundering in BC government regulated casinos. And I'll end, my answer here for the first part. Look, the BC NDP government of the day was lobbied effectively to raise betting limits on the game of choice for these traveling gamblers from China. That's baccarat. And so as soon as those betting limits were up, it just opened the floodgates to more of those Vancouver model drug cash loans flowing into casinos on Canada's west coast, and it really builds up. It's a tragic story from the 80s, 90s, the 2010s, 2020s. Now I was seeing and proving that not only condo units are being laundered in this model. I showed, I believe, to great level of evidence that again these Hong Kong real estate investors, they're developing towers consistent with this
Mhm.
money laundering model.
So, Sando, earlier you alluded to the involvement of the Chinese government. What exact role did Beijing play in empowering organized crime to set up base in Canada?
This is something that came out of the latter stages of my research after 2015. As it works, I first uncovered this Vancouver model, discovering the financial really scale and sophistication of this money laundering model. And beyond that, how big a part of BC casinos it was. I also discovered how it was a major portion of Vancouver real estate investment. And in the stages of my discovery, I learned that some of these shadowy major players in the Vancouver model, so I'm talking about what's called the VIP gamblers, the loan shark businessmen that are really drug traffickers giving drug cash loans, and the related major real estate developers. A lot of these individuals had provable ties to the Chinese Communist Party through what is known as Beijing's Foreign Influence United Front Work Department. And so it gets very complex in terms of, again, symbiotic objectives being fulfilled, where this illicit model of finance I have found in the last year or two is also, involved in fulfilling Chinese Communist Party objectives. And so that relates to election funding for candidates favored by China within Canada's diaspora communities. It also should be funding all manner of more sophisticated and dark and even, I believe, violent operations that are taking place in Canada. And let me add, my book, Willful Blindness in 2021, brought forward the theory that the Chinese Communist Party was either complicit or maybe even behind the fentanyl trafficking. This is now the evidence and the allegation of the US government at a bipartisan level. A congressional panel in 2024 put out a report saying The CCP at a high level is working with Chinese transnational crime and, in fact, incentivizing fentanyl precursor sales. So the US government believes Beijing is fulfilling an objective by effectively attacking North
Mhm.
American society with the opioid crisis.
Which is deeply concerning. It feels like a reverse opioid war. Why is it that thousands of people have to die for Beijing's foreign policy priorities? We'll get to that after the break.